Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone? I hope y'all are doing great. Good evening. Good evening from Tokyo Haneda International Airport. We had promised you all that we will be filming, we will be streaming from Tokyo Haneda, and here it is. Today, 5th of February 2026. We arrived over here in the afternoon, and this is evening, 8:30 in the evening over here, 10:30 in Sydney, Australia, and we are filming. I hope everyone's enjoying the warm summer weather in Sydney. Over here it seems to be a bit chilly. As you can see, we are on the observation deck of Tokyo Haneda Terminal 3. We do have a couple of arrivals coming in, but it seems to be we aren't getting much as of now. It seems to be a little quiet period, but we should be getting a bit more action later tonight. Well, for today, I would just want to say that we aren't really going to be streaming as long as we usually do, because we just came to test out this observation deck. It's been our first time here in Tokyo, the first time ever. For those of you who've been to Tokyo, what do you see? Let us know. Let us know in the comments. But as you can see over here, Japan Airlines, Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. There's pretty much a lot of them coming in, but we need to get more of the action. Hopefully later tonight is what we will get. As we speak, we will be changing our place, our spotting location. We are still going to be at the observation deck, but slightly further away. It may help us get a better view. I hope y'all are having a great evening, because it's about 8:35 over here, which should be 10:35 in Sydney. Now, this seems to be a better place for us. We have All Nippon Airways ANA. If you want to see the control tower, there it is. Let us zoom in a bit. Let us get some action. Our first time spotting from the heart of Tokyo, Tokyo Haneda. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to all the kids. It is midweek, Thursday, and I hope y'all are having a great time. Hope y'all are having a great time. It's almost the weekend. Hopefully, y'all will be having a lovely weekend, and we will be streaming for y'all tomorrow, and perhaps tomorrow all night long. That is what we plan to do. If we shift our attention down, we see ANA 787 getting ready for departure. Some luggage going into the cargo hold. How good is that? We do have a lot of action coming, but we need to see a bit what's going to happen, etc. At this stage, there's not many arrivals or departures, but that's typical of Tokyo Airport, I would say. Nothing to worry, because we do know that in a few hours from now, late night is when all the action begins. So it's only a matter of time before we end up getting a lot more of these actions over here at Tokyo Haneda International Airport, also known as Tokyo International Airport. Welcome everyone. I know it's late night for you all in Sydney, but over here it's just about 8:30 p.m., 10:30 p.m. in Sydney. We do see a lot of ANA Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners, and in the far end there's Turkish Airlines. Let us zoom in and see if we can see the other side of the airport. Yes, we can. Nice and clear. As you can see, it does say Tokyo International Airport. And the ATC Tower. Alright, China Eastern Airlines MU575 coming in from Beijing. And that's the Boeing 777-300ER. How good would it be if it was daytime? It would be great. And let us then go to the extreme end of the observation deck. Probably we'll get some better views over there. And meanwhile, whilst we are waiting for a bit of action, let me show you all around. On the other side, you see there's a lot of seating space. And there's some vending machines for whatever it is. Let's have a look. Regardless, before this live stream goes on full action. $70 nice, wow. So you can get ice creams in a vending machine in Japan. Yeah, I bet a lot of you would already be knowing that, but for me it's a bit new. It's my first time over here in Japan. A lot of nice, cute drinks. Look at that. And they're so reasonably priced compared to Sydney. For whatever reason, in Sydney the things are priced. We surely could have got better pricing and better taste as well. But regardless, we aren't here for that. We are here for all the planes. And now once again we are here. Have a very good look of the Boeing 777 of ANA. And there's Boeing 787 just departing out of Haneda, being pushed back at this very moment. That is ANA Boeing 737 that has come in from Iwakuni, NH640. If we pan around, we will also able to see the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner of Japan Airlines. Well, if you are wondering what the disturbance is, a bit of things. So you see these are the steel fences that's put in here at the observation deck. And rightly so, for security reasons, so that no one really plays the fool around, but it is great. So much of action over here at Tokyo Haneda. At this very moment, not much, but that doesn't mean we won't be having any action whatsoever. There will be pretty much quite a lot later tonight, so just stay tuned. Hey Lena, yes, you are definitely first in the chat. Welcome to the chat. And yes, we did have a couple of people come into the stream, and perhaps, you know, I would assume because it's quite late in Sydney, about 10:45, and you know, everyone would be fast asleep. So yeah, they did log into the stream. However, they've just gone to sleep. And like you know, we usually stream early morning and afternoon time, but today we just came in over here late afternoon. Then we went to the hotel, got ready, came around, got this place, and here we are. Happy to be here. And I'm guessing pretty much you and everyone else would be happy to see this stream as well. We've been promising a lot of our viewers for months together now. I think from last year October we've been planning to come over here and stream, and we are lucky that we could do it. I am glad I could bring this stream to you all. And you know, since this is the first one, we are just treating this as a trial. However, there should be a lot more action coming in tomorrow afternoon. How good is that, right? So yes, I'm guessing Sydney Airport at this very moment will already be getting ready for the curfew. But over here, Tokyo Haneda, we're just getting ready for all the action to begin the late night action. Welcome everyone. Welcome to this first live stream from Tokyo Haneda. It's night time and there's not much that we can see, but hopefully tomorrow daytime is when we will capture all of the action for you all. I hope you all are able to join tomorrow, Friday afternoon. How lovely would that be? You know, it's going to be a great start to the weekend, a great start to your weekend and ours as well. And we have China Southern Airlines. All right, seems to be people are honking. That's crazy, right? Happening at the airport. That's a bit crazy. Hey Lena, yes, it's going to be exciting from this airport. And Lena, I am not too sure, but I did read that it does say that it faces Mount Fuji. So hopefully tomorrow morning is when we'll get to know. If not morning, at least by night. Sorry, not night. I mean early afternoon, late afternoon. That's when we'll get to know a lot more. But yeah, as of now, we don't really see Mount Fuji because, you know, it's night and stuff like that. But I'm pretty much guessing that we should be able to see Mount Fuji because that is what I've read. A lot of people have mentioned it on different blogs and Reddit. So I'm pretty sure we'll be able to see it if it's not a cloudy day, because it does mention, most of the articles that I did read, it did mention that on a cloudy day you won't be able to spot Mount Fuji, but on a clear day you should be able to. And as for the weather, we are expecting a clear day tomorrow here in Tokyo Haneda, so it should be a good one. Of course, early morning we won't be streaming tomorrow because we are going to be visiting Shibuya Sky, but afternoon is when we will come over here and just get going one after another. Hopefully get some really lovely streams and a lot of action, I would say. We also plan to stream late night tomorrow, so you know, get comfortable on your couch, and it's going to be a great hell of a night on Friday. There's no better way to start the weekend, the first weekend of September, with the stream. Welcome everyone. I appreciate you all joining from wherever you are joining in the world. People joining us from Sydney, thank you very much. Really appreciate you all joining at this time of the night. Lena, yes, I do get it, Lena. But yeah, in Sydney, people can be honking for anything and everything. That's a totally different story. But regardless, yeah, it's always good. Always good to hear some honks over here. I think we should be having some super great views in the afternoon tomorrow. It seems to be a very good view for us even right now, but like everyone else knows, cameras don't do justice in the night. You know, eyes can see much better than the camera, and that is all relating to technology and things like that. Because as you see, right now we can spot China Southern Airlines. Let us zoom in a bit and you see how it gets darker. In fact, it's not at all dark. It is this bright that you see right now, but we've got to be zoomed out, at least for now, because it's night time. But regardless, you know, there's still a lot of action happening, and that is what we love. We see another plane coming far off on one of the other runways. More than the planes, I see all these catering trucks moving around. Maybe they're done with their work, and this ANA Boeing 777 may depart soon. Who knows? Let's wait and watch. It's only about 8:52 p.m. over here, so we will be spending a bit of time. Let's see, hopefully everything goes well. I'm so glad we have this viewing deck here in Tokyo Haneda. I wish there could have been something like that in Sydney. And I'm pretty sure we don't even have such a thing at the new Western Sydney International Airport. There should have been one, considering Western Sydney Airport is going to be open for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can't be complaining about that. And yeah, sadly, that's not the case. There's everything else. There's some great technology, unmanned check-in counters, unmanned machines for check-in, and sadly that's not what we get. But yeah, who are we to complain, right? Great. I think these guys are getting ready to load their stuff. And I think this China Airlines is just being parked at one of the remote bays, I would say. Or perhaps it's being pushed back. We lost track of what was happening there. Whoa. There you go. One of those heavy departures right now. Delta. DL180 on its Boeing 767. How many times is it that we see a Boeing 767 in Sydney? A passenger Boeing 767? Almost never, I would say, or perhaps never. But here we can see it. Tokyo to Honolulu on the Boeing 767-300 Delta Airlines DL180. being pushed back. And then we have Air China. Let us get that one in frame. That's Air China getting ready for its flight to Beijing. It's almost ready. It's already tugged by the machine. Should be there taxiing shortly. Hey Lena, thanks for letting us know. We haven't really seen the Boeing 767 of Japan Airlines, but hopefully soon. As you know, we just started. It's our first live stream here in Tokyo Haneda, so we should hopefully get it shortly. Even if we able to see it right now, unless it's going to be parked at one of these gates, it's highly unlikely we may able to get a very good view, especially if it is going to be landing on one of those runways, considering it's night time. But regardless, it's going to be great. Hopefully we get some very good action tomorrow morning, because that is not tomorrow morning, apologies, I mean tomorrow afternoon. That's when all the action is going to start over here on our channel. For today, we just came to have a look of how things could work out. It seems to be great. As you can see, this is the observation deck. It's huge. So you go there, you turn right, and then you go again. It's a really great one. I really wish, I could only wish actually, that we had such observation decks in Sydney or perhaps anywhere else in Australia. Sadly, that's not the case. But I would understand, space is at a premium and things like that. But considering Australia has some great aviation fans and people love aviation so much, we should have had it. But this one's great regardless. Each to their own, each place has its pros and cons. So we'll give it to Tokyo Haneda today. All right, thanks Lena for letting us know that they'll be at the domestic terminals. Yeah, if it's at the domestic terminal, quite obviously that's not something we will get. But what we could do is, during the daytime, when we see them on the runways, either taking off or landing, that's going to be a really good view for us. How good will that be? We will be documenting history, because the Boeing 767 is not something that you will see in the next 20-30 years. Everyone and most of the airlines are moving to the 787 Dreamliners or the Airbus A350. Right everyone, what we see on screen is Air China CA422 on its Airbus A321 from Tokyo Haneda to Beijing. And if we pan towards the right, we don't see much action happening at all. We don't see planes coming in. I do see one, but we can't really get it on the camera over here because of the way because we are at the end of the observation deck. Regardless, let us see what we can get. There's another Air China, and I guess that is what we saw. Beijing to Tokyo Haneda. Once again, it's great to see all of this action, but yeah, I guess we should have had some more action about earlier in the day. All right, Delta Boeing 767. Taxi lights are on. Wow, I hope y'all can hear. I hope y'all can hear the engine spool up. I'm going to be quiet. Just listen to the sounds. I see a lot of Boeing 787 Dreamliners though. Okay, there we see Delta making its way. Bye-bye Delta. Have a safe flight to Honolulu, the United States of America. I'm glad that we have spotted the first Boeing 767 over here. It's always great to spot aircraft that aren't as regular. I would say aren't as regular in Sydney, and even otherwise at most other airports you don't really see that. So it's always great to have a look at one. What I'm actually waiting for is getting a lot of other domestic carriers coming in tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier as well, because it's nighttime, there's not much of the action that we can get, especially from the runways, but daytime there'll be a lot that we can capture just because the lighting will be so much better. Hey Jeff, hello, welcome to the stream, Jeff. I hope you're having a great Thursday night. It's pretty late over there, 11:05, but I appreciate your presence, Jeff. Thank you. Jeff, we will be in Tokyo till the night of 8th February, and on the 9th then we fly to Singapore. However, we will be over here at Tokyo Haneda till the afternoon of 8th of February. Then in the evening on the 8th of February, we are going to Tokyo Narita. We have a hotel booked over there at Tokyo Narita, Toyoko Inn, Honkan, and that's the name of the hotel. And it is just outside the terminal. If we are lucky enough to get a room with the terminal view, we will also end up getting a lot of taxi action. So hopefully, Jeff, that works out quite well for us. If it does, that would be another hell of a night, you know. It's going to be great. We are just crossing our fingers. Hopefully everything works the way we want it to. So let us see. Yes, Jeff, Narita will really be interesting for some reason. I don't know why. I know a lot of people prefer Tokyo Haneda, and that is for the location, you know, dead center in the city and stuff like that. But yeah, Tokyo Narita is the OGs of Tokyo. Yeah. It's my first time actually being here in Tokyo, and I think I've already fallen in love with the airport, with everything else that I've seen over here. Not much, to be honest, but you know, just the immigration queue, the way the immigration is handled, the baggage, customs, everything else. How good, how sweet. But yes, in terms of location, yeah, I'm pretty sure Tokyo Narita Airport has quite a lot of action over there as well. Let us see what we do get. Jeff and everyone else watching us today on the live stream, we did hear from Campbell Wilson, who is the CEO of Air India, who did mention that the Boeing 787 Dreamliners are being retrofitted, and by later this year we will be able to see those retrofitted Boeing 787 Dreamliners coming in to Sydney. So hopefully, you know, we'll get to see one of those, as well as one of the newer Boeing 787 Dreamliners that Air India just got. They got their hands on, I think, one of the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner on the 11th of January, if I'm not mistaken with the date. But yeah, they did start their new service from Mumbai to Frankfurt. Hopefully we can get that 787-9 with the new livery. The new livery looks quite good and fresh compared to the older one. So let us see, fingers crossed, you know, that's something we are looking out for. We do plan, Jeff, like I mentioned to you last week on the stream, that we will also be going to Western Sydney Airport even before it opens. Just get a good recce of it, get a very good understanding of what the airport is like, and, you know, get a good layout. Let us see how things work. But for now, yes, we are over here trying to get some really good action. Our first night here at Tokyo Haneda. Not much action at this very moment because it's only 9:07 p.m. This is an airport open 24 hours. 24 hours is when the observation deck is open. They don't close like Tokyo Narita. Tokyo Narita's observation decks close at 9 p.m. During summer, and about 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. during winter. And as you all know, it's winter right now over here in Tokyo. It's about, I think, let me check the temperature, 9 degrees, but we are expecting it to be 0 degrees on Saturday morning. Let us see. Hopefully I don't freeze, because if I get frozen, maybe we'll just be having a static view, and that's not something that we want, so we'll just try staying warm. Jeff, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, most airlines, they don't really use the Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner. If you may have noticed, Singapore Airlines has a couple of Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner. Now, the difference between a Boeing 787-9 and -10 Dreamliner is with the carrying capacity, the seating capacity. So Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners, or you know, let us start with everything. A Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. So the -8s, they can do pretty much a distance of, I think, up to about 13,000 kilometers. That's why you see Jetstar using their Boeing 787 to Osaka. And you know, Osaka is not even 10,000 kilometers as such, but we do see Boeing 787-8s coming in from Delhi, India. We see Boeing 787-9s coming in from Abu Dhabi. Of course, you know, right now the Boeing 787s have been replaced with the Airbus A350-1000. But the reason why I bring all this up is because the 787-8 is, you know, for I would say a distance that is not too long, but you don't really have that much of demand. The Boeing 787-9 is that sweet spot. The 787-9 has a slightly larger fuel tank as well as slightly larger seating capacity. So that helps quite a bit. You see in Sydney, we have the Boeing 787-9 coming in from Houston, I would say. Then we also have the Boeing 787-9 coming in from few other places. Oh yeah, the 787-9 of LATAM Airlines that comes from Santiago, Chile. But the Boeing 787-10, it doesn't have as much range compared to the 787-9. So that fits a very narrow use case, a very small use case for most airlines, where the Boeing 787-10 can carry a lot of people, but then you don't really need to travel as far. So it's on one of those routes where the demand is high, but it's not too long of a distance. And that is how I would put it, because you need it on dense routes as such, where there's a lot of demand, but again, the distance is not too large. So for example, if we would say that we want to use a Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner on Sydney to Santiago or Sydney to Houston, Sydney to Dallas, I think it would not be economical. Of course, the Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner would be able to do that, but with slightly lesser reserve fuel. But in terms of economics, you wouldn't really end up getting that much of profit compared from a 787-9. Of course, it's like 787-10 is longer, is larger, uses slightly bit more fuel, and every liter, every percentage of fuel that you save in aviation works out to be quite a bit overall at the end of the year. Because if you're saving even 0.2%, 0.2, okay, that's 0.2, not even quarter of a percent of fuel per flight, you times it by 365, and that's going to be quite a lot. That's millions of dollars in fuel saved over there. So every drop counts, and that's why a lot of airlines do use the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. I have seen just one use case of the Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, and that is between Singapore and Mumbai. It seems to be Singapore and Mumbai, the morning flights. That is, I think, the one that departs Singapore about 7:40 in the morning. And on its return leg, it departs about 11:50 or 55 from Mumbai, India. It seems to be that's one of the more popular routes, and rightly so, because there are a lot of Indians and immigrants working in Singapore. And likewise, Singapore is also a hub. So there'll be a lot of people traveling from Mumbai to Singapore and onwards to even the United States. I've seen people traveling to the United States, Mumbai to Singapore, and then Singapore to New York, or Singapore to JFK, so JFK or New York International Airport. So there's a lot to it. So yeah, they do use the 787-10, and they are able to fill it quite well. So it just depends. It's more of the economies, but I wouldn't say the 787-10 is better. I would only say that the 787-10 would be better when you have a lot of demand, but you don't really need to travel as far as other airlines. So I would put it that way. All right, we are the 787-9 of ANA is pulling up. Hey Lena, it didn't take long for immigration. It didn't take long at all. So when I arrived over here, there were a lot of people. We arrived on Singapore Airlines Airbus A350-900. There were a lot of people, a lot of tourists. I was expecting it to be longer, but the Japanese, as we all know, they are super efficient. There were serpentine queues, and it reminded me of my time when I arrived in New York, where I was in the immigration queue for 3 hours and 43 minutes to be precise on the dot. However, that wasn't the case. The serpentine queues were just moving, we just weren't standing at one point whatsoever. There were quite a lot of people over there. segregating the ones who had the QR code for their customs declaration and the ones who didn't. And then all you need to do is go to one of the machines, scan your passport, answer the questions, the very same questions that you've already answered on the Visit Japan website. And once you've done that, that's about it. That's really about it. And then you just go ahead, pick up your bags. Once you pick up your bags, again pass through the counters that you were told earlier that you should go through. So usually when you go to the manned counter before your immigration, you have A, B, C, D, and E, I would say. And I think based on your arrival, your citizenship country, as well as what you've declared, you're just assigned a particular gate as such. I was assigned QA, and it worked well. It worked well. All right, this is what I wanted to see. People waving to the departing flight. And this is what I also want to tell you all. So yesterday when I was at Sydney Airport, there was an ANA 787-9 Dreamliner departing for Tokyo Haneda. And there were workers over there who were waving out. We will be posting that video. That's a YouTube short video tomorrow. Yes, we will be posting it tomorrow. So make sure you'll watch it. And look at what we see, the moon. How good is that to get such a great view on our first night at Tokyo Haneda? It's a bit cloudy, so the moon is hiding. The moon is shy. The moon is shy. And you know what else was shy today? Our aircraft from Singapore to Tokyo Haneda was shy because the aircraft registration was 9VSHY, shy. Thanks, Jeff. I always like sharing all this information with you and everyone else. But like I always say, and I've mentioned it in my previous streams as well, it's not that we know anything and everything. So, you know, any suggestions, anything, when we make a mistake, when we are wrong, please correct us, let us know. It's always great to share information about aviation and everything else. It's quite helpful. Hey Gerald, hello Gerald, welcome to the live stream. Thank you very much, Gerald, the other day for joining us on our live stream, and today here you are again. Gerald, the other day when you joined our live stream, we were in Sydney, Australia. Today we are at Tokyo Haneda International Airport. And for those of you who don't know, where we are staying at this very moment, we are staying at Hotel Villa Fontaine Grand, which is just a walking distance from this terminal, and you don't even need to go outside the airport. You just walk through the bridge and you are in there. How good is that? Hey Jeff, I haven't seen Qantas flight, at least as of now. I don't know. I think it should be arriving probably because it departs at what time? 11:30, 12 in Sydney. And like I said, you know, Jeff, the other day, that I should have been on that aircraft. But yeah, sadly, that's not the case. But yes, I don't think I have seen Qantas flight. It's less than an hour that we've been here, so I'm not too sure if it had already arrived earlier. But let's have a look at flight radar. Probably we'll get a good view of it. We'll get to know what exactly is happening. All right, we see QF25. It's still on its way. Let us have a look what time it's. Whoa. So Sydney to Haneda departed 1 hour and 46 minutes ago and is going to arrive 7 hours and 28 minutes from now. That's quite late, or perhaps early morning over here in Tokyo. All right, we did see a Cathay Pacific flight arrive over here. Still not the action that we wanted, but yeah, let us see. So we have Tokyo service from Hong Kong. All right, everyone. I also wanted to let you all know that we did bring our tripod. We bought what's the thing called? I even forgot the name. The DJI Osmo Mobile 7, so that we could get a nice static view of planes. But sadly, that's not the case, because it seems to be that the viewing deck has quite a bit of height to it. It's little above knee height as we stand, and even if we aren't standing, it seems to be there's a bit of these protective things over here for the steel fencing. So yes, so we just need to be streaming handheld, so apologies for that. Yeah, we will be having a slightly shaky video, or perhaps I would say not a stable video as such, but yeah, we are quite happy to at least get some really good data plans as such. Let us see if we can capture Cathay Pacific's 777-300 that has just come in from Hong Kong. We should be getting it here. Hey Jeff, QF60. All right, let me have a look. All right, thanks Lena for all that information. QF60 will depart in an hour. All right, let us see. For those of you who have just joined us, we will be streaming tomorrow late night. It's going to be fun. Today was just a recce, just a trial for us, and it seems to be working out quite well. We want to capture all of the night action. We will be streaming even during the day. Probably afternoon is when we will start streaming. Let us say around 2:30, 3 o'clock Tokyo time, which is about 4:30, 5 o'clock Sydney time. How good is that? Everyone's just going to finish work and then yeah, switch on your TV, switch on your computer and start watching. All right. So I see QF60, it says scheduled departure at 10 o'clock tonight. However, the estimated departure is 10 minutes past 10, and it's a Qantas One World livery. Let us see if we can get that one. But like Lena said, it's not on this side, so yeah, let us see. All right, Jeff, thank you very much. We always appreciate your presence, Jeff. You know, Jeff, you're like the star of our stream, because you're always over here, always asking us questions and being so informative, you know, sharing your knowledge, letting us know stuff. Especially, you know, appreciate the last time you told us things about your mom going to China to meet your granny. And you know, we love that thing. We love your participation and stuff like that. But yeah, you need to head to bed, so have a great night's sleep, Jeff, I would say, and see you tomorrow night. Jeff, if you're around, you can also tune in about tomorrow late afternoon Sydney time. We will be streaming a bit, but if you can't make it, no problem whatsoever. And yeah, see you tonight. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is going to be a great one. We will be streaming quite late. You know, we are going to come here, going to be nice and warm and try capturing all of the night action. It's going to be nice and quiet, and it's going to be fun. Hopefully see you there. Take care of yourself, Jeff. Regards to all at home, and catch you tomorrow. Still a quiet time, everyone. We see Singapore Airlines coming in, just get to recognize it on its tail. Welcome everyone to all who have joined our stream. We are really glad and we are pleased to bring you the stream from Tokyo Haneda. It has been quite a long time in the making for this stream. We had been planning and promising our viewers for this one for quite some time. I think we mentioned it early to late October of 2025 that we would be visiting Tokyo Haneda in early 2026, and here you are, February, and we are here. What a lovely place to be. What a lovely place, quite polite people, polite from the heart, and that is what we need. We need better people in the world, and I'm pleased, my heart is quite warm to get to know such people over here, and that is something that we do need a lot of people around in the world, not only over here in Tokyo Haneda. Of course, there's a lot that we can learn. We do know a lot of tourists visit Tokyo and stuff like that for tourism, and with the positive experiences, I would love if we could also learn a bit from them. But regardless, we are over here for all the live action, all the aircraft action, and that is what we are getting. Right, we see ANA's Boeing 787, I think that is. Let us see as it comes closer, we'll get to know. It's quite dark side over there. Okay, it does seem to be moving from the behind. Hopefully we will get to see it turning around over here. If it does taxi over here, it's going to be great. It is, of course, the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner from what we see, and it's quite obvious at this very moment. Alright, yeah, indeed it is turning towards us. And on that side we have the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner of Japan Airlines being pushed back. In the background, you also see Hawaiian Air taxiing. This is super lovely. Finally, we got some really great view of an aircraft coming in. And I'm glad it is the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner of ANA, inspiration of Japan. Let us zoom onto those engines. We do see Singapore Airlines in the background. The Singapore Airlines tail, I'm guessing it's a Boeing, not Boeing, Airbus A350, but I could be wrong. At this moment, I'm just guessing because we can't really see much at all whatsoever. Plus, there was another plane just blocking our way too. Work going on both the ANA aircraft. This is the Boeing 777-300 and that's the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. Alright, we do see Singapore Airlines flight coming in, and that does seem to be the Airbus A350, but we don't know whether it's going to be taxiing from this taxiway. Let us see. We do see a bit of space, vacant space next to Turkish, so maybe we'll get it. Let us see. If it's turning, we'll get a very good view. Alright, it does seem to be turning. Lovely. Meanwhile, let's turn our attention over there. ANA getting ready to be unloaded. we have the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner of Japan Airlines being pushed back again. This is another one, not the same one. There were quite a lot of them. So you see everything's gone, but nothing has come in. And that's just a reminder that the night action is about to start. Here you are, Singapore Airlines, Boeing Airbus A350-900. And if we look slightly up, we see the moon. As we see those aircraft that have just made their way out, we have a couple of them coming in. That seems to be Asiana Airlines. And indeed it is. Let us zoom in and see if we can get that one for you all. Alright, what we can see is the tail, but yeah, it's a bit dark. Hopefully when it goes a bit ahead, we'll have some light shining onto it. There you are, a bit of light shining on the fuselage. And what we see in the background is China Eastern Airlines. Perhaps just being pulled in for its flight, I would say. Okay, so it seems to be they are going to be parking it at a remote stand over here. So it's neither a flight nor nothing else. I thought it would be pulled to one of the gates, but that's not the case. It just seems to be a remote stand. So it's going to be until it needs to depart for China, perhaps tomorrow morning, I would say, or maybe late night. Never know. But then I think if it would be late night, they would prefer already giving it one of the gates. But maybe it's not going to be near in the next few hours, else they would have left it at one of the very gates that would have been far off. But then in this case, they haven't even left it at a far off gate, it's just a remote stand. Right, we see some action happening out there. There's still quite a lot of time for both of them to depart. That one on the right that we were just looking in, this one, because it seems to be the cargo doors, the holes are still open. There's catering service over here being loaded, all the trays being taken off. I think they would have already been taken off, but yes, that's the thing. Let us see this one. This one seems to be ready but hasn't been unloaded yet. Should be done in the next few minutes. All right, so we see one of those catering containers being loaded, or perhaps being loaded with all the trash, all the food waste. Like I mentioned earlier, we aren't seeing much action because we are quite early for the late night action. It's only about 9:46 p.m. at this very moment here in Tokyo, and the late night action, all of the international arrivals, departures, perhaps I would say most of them will be taking place late night. So it's going to be nice. But yeah, we aren't filming tonight. But yeah, definitely tomorrow night is when we will be filming quite a lot. I do see Finnair over there. Maybe there should be some more action coming through. Let us see. Let's wait for a bit more time and hopefully we get something. Let us see when this Boeing 777 and the Boeing 787 Dreamliner they depart. Let us see when. Hello, May. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. I hope you're having a great time, May. It's about 9:50 p.m. here in Tokyo Haneda. And there's not much action happening. And it was expected because there's a lot more action that's supposed to happen late night tonight, but we aren't filming late night tonight. Definitely we'll be filming tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow late night. And I hope you're having a great time, May. Hopefully it's been a wonderful day for you. We are glad to be filming from our first night in Tokyo Haneda. We see some two towers over there. I don't know which one is the Tokyo Tower, but for those who know, they can comment on and let me know about it. But definitely tomorrow morning, or perhaps tomorrow afternoon when we film is when we get a complete idea of what is what. But look at those lights, the Tokyo lights. So nice and red everywhere. Another joke is you see so many lights so late in the night. Everything is red, red and red. You'll never even see houses lit up at home in Australia at this time of the day. Everyone will just be sleeping. But yeah, I hope everything's going well with everyone. And May, if you're still on the stream, I hope you enjoy the stream. I hope you're having a very great evening. All right, we have United. And what is that? Is that a Boeing 737? What on earth is a Boeing 737 of United doing over here? And how did it even end up over here? That's a big question. For those of you who don't know, a Boeing 737 wouldn't be flying on international long-haul routes. So definitely there has to be something in regard to that. All right, as I check, as expected, it was United Airlines UA849 on its Boeing 737-800, but from Guam, which is just about 3.5 hours, and 3 hours and 22 minutes to be more precise, I would say. All right, we seem to be having a bit of luggage that will be loaded onto the plane now, but as we look at this one, it's being nice and cleared. Some pre-departure checks going on over there. Alrighty, we see Turkish Airlines, Boeing 777 being pushed back. Again, sad story, we won't really get to see the departure just because of the time of the day, but that doesn't really stop us. Hopefully we can get to see a lot more tomorrow morning. And yes, tomorrow night we will still be filming regardless, you know, it's going to be the same looks and everything else for us, but yeah, it's going to be nice. If you're wondering what that sound is, it's the engines pulling up on the Boeing 777-300 of Turkish Airlines. Hey Lena, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for confirming that you can hear the sound, and I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy a lot more of those sounds then tomorrow. It's going to be fun when we see a lot of those heavies and a lot of those lighter aircraft coming, hear them spool up, so it's going to be fun. Yes. Pretty much the hot dog stand is the one that is to look out for. And yeah, great sounds. You know, you can always hear the sounds pretty loud and clear over there. All right, here we have it. Finally, we have the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner that is making its way. And where is it off to? It's off to Vancouver, Canada, Boeing 787-9 NH116. That's a pretty long flight. Let us just give it the attention it deserves. And we see Japan Airlines Boeing 777 that is taxiing, coming towards us. Hopefully it goes over here to this gate, but I'm pretty much not expecting it to, because that gate was occupied for quite some time. And over there on that side we do have Finnair that's been pushed back. Let us see, maybe we should hear the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner for its flight to Vancouver, spooling up its engines pretty soon. We do have the tug vehicle still in there. Maybe once it's cleared, and that's when we will be able to hear the engine spooling up. But look at that, what a great view of Finnair's Airbus A350. I'm so used to looking at Finnair's Airbus A330 in Sydney, one that makes its way to Bangkok and the other one that makes its way to Hong Kong, registered as not VH, OHLTS and OHLTM. Those are the two we keep seeing all the time. And as you all know, or if you all don't know, those are the aircraft that's leased by Qantas from Fene until they get their newer aircraft. Let us see how things work. We should be able to hear the engines pull up. Let us see. Okay, we did hear some sounds, not as loud as Turkish Airlines Boeing 777-300, but still. Okay, so you see it's turning on the right, which is left for us. And like I said, I don't think it would have gone to the exact gate where ANA Boeing 787-9 was, the Vancouver flight that we just saw spooling up its engines, because there were quite a lot of gates on the other side over here that are free for quite some time. So let us see which gate it goes to. Alrighty, like one further gate away, there was a space here where you see those watermarks. But that's okay. We at least got to have a look at this one. Japan Airlines Boeing 777-300. And I see Qantas. Do you all spot Qantas? Do you all spot it? We can see the tail of Qantas. The One World delivery QF60 that has just departed. It was estimated to depart at 10 minutes past 10, but it's only 7 minutes past 10 and it's already taxiing. So I'm pretty much sure they would have pushed back on time at 10. There you go, Qantas QF60. And that's a One World livery. And we have Boeing 737 of A&E. But let's turn around. What do we see here? Wow, wow, wow. We see some nice livery there, the Pokemon livery of A&E. Wow, I'm glad Japan Airlines went over there, so we see the Pokemon livery over here. How good is that, guys, everyone? How good is that? Our first live stream, and we are lucky to get Pokemon livery. Oh, sorry, is that even Pokemon? Wow, look at that. Hey Lena, yes, sadly the Star Wars livery is gone, right? That is gone, and I think we were a bit sad about that one. Hey Perth Plane Spotting, hello. I hope you're having a great time. Thank you very much once again for joining our stream, Perth Plane Spotting. I hope you've been having some great time spotting planes over there in Western Australia. Tell me guys, how good is this? It's not only the plane action, but we get to see all of this miscellaneous action too. How good. You know, because I've always believed aviation is not only about planes and planes flying, planes taking off, taxiing, but it's, you know, everything that makes aviation so successful. You cannot do, and aviation wouldn't be successful without one of these ancillary services, I would say. Be it catering, be it fueling, the luggage, ground handling, whatever, you name it, everything works in a universal cohesion. And that is how, you know, aviation has been so successful. That is how our planes depart on time, arrive on time, the ATCs, everything, you know, everything needs quite a lot of cooperation. And I'm glad to see that happening over here. Hey Perth Plane Spotting, thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. We appreciate you subscribing to us. And everyone viewing our stream right now, please go have a look at Perth Plane Spotting too. They do a pretty much very good job spotting planes. Go have a look at them. And yeah, all the best, Perth Plane Spotting. Thank you very much once again. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate everything you do. We appreciate you coming to watch our live stream. Of course, you know, it's 9:13 p.m. over there. You know, it's amazing and it's a bit crazy how we are in another country, in Tokyo, and Tokyo is about 14 minutes past 10, but in Perth it's 9, it's 14 minutes past 9, and yet we are in a totally same country compared to Japan. So Sydney is about 12:14 p.m. 12:14 a.m. But regardless, let's have a look. Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner of ANA. Welcome everyone to all who have just joined our stream. Today is our first stream from Tokyo Haneda. It was all about testing and looking how things work out, but please join us tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be one hell of a crazy night, starting with tomorrow afternoon's stream, and then we will also be streaming late night. We hope y'all enjoy the late night stream tomorrow. Thanks, Plate Spotting. Thank you very much. It's always about the love for aviation. So, if more people know us, the more we can share our love for aviation and share all the aviation happenings all across. It's been you who's sharing stuff from Perth. We do it from Sydney. Of course, at this very moment we are in Tokyo Haneda, and likewise, it's always great to have this thing about aviation, because like I've always mentioned it, and even in my previous live streams from Sydney, that not all the aviation fans and not everyone can see all of the happenings in aviation all across the world. Like just earlier on the stream today, we happened to see Delta's DL-180 Boeing 767. How often do we see Boeing 767s in Australia, for that matter? It's hardly ever even possible. We do see a couple of cargo flights, but apart from that, barring that, there isn't much. So that is something we need to get to, and I'm always happy to give you a shout out. Thank you very much. Appreciate your kind words, Plate Spotting. Korean Air with the new livery. And boarding has already commenced for this flight. Just saw the captain walk through. Another small Boeing 737 of ANA that has arrived.
Let us pan to the right and see if we can capture some of that action over there. Doesn't look like we can capture much of it because it's a bit too far. Right, we have a Japan Airlines flight that has just come in. Alright everyone, just a heads up, we will be streaming for another 10 minutes or so for now, for today, and we will then end the live stream. However, please join us tomorrow afternoon as well as tomorrow late night. It's going to be fun tomorrow. Maybe we should wait for departure of this aircraft because we've been filming this aircraft for quite some time. So yeah, let's see. Let's see if this aircraft is something that we can film spooling up its engines before we end the live stream for today. That will be a nice end to the live stream, especially the first live stream out of Tokyo Haneda International Airport. Such a great airport, such a great experience for us to be over here, and it's amazing how we could come to the observation deck and film planes and stay here for however long you want, whatever time of the day, whatever time of the night, because it's open 24 hours, and that is what really works the magic for us. I'm pretty impressed. There still seems to be a bit of work to be done. I don't think the boarding has started, because earlier I thought the boarding did start, but what really happened was just the captain walking through, but apart from that I haven't seen passengers moving in. Let us turn our attention to a few other planes. That side is the ANA-1, a special livery 1. Japan Airlines that we saw coming into the gate. We even saw this one. Earlier we thought it was a Pokemon livery, but no, it's quite another livery. If any of you all know which livery this one is, please comment down and let us know. This is the Boeing 777. We've been looking at it and all the work that's been going on, catering, loading of the food, the luggage, a bit of checks. We've been looking at it all for quite some time. And I think in a matter of time, a few minutes, I would say, is when boarding would begin for this aircraft. Let us see how things work out. ANA Boeing 737. By the looks of it, it seems this ANA Boeing 737 is not going to depart anytime soon, and it's getting quite chilly over here. So we may have to end the live stream in the next few minutes. It's 8 degrees as of now, quite chilly, quite cold, and we may have to make our way back to the hotel. But worry not, because we will be streaming live tomorrow afternoon and late night. Even if it's quite windy, quite cold, we will still be waiting regardless. And that plane, Boeing 737, is come from Okinawa. And it seems to be boarding has just begun. Let me see if we can zoom in a bit. Oh yeah, so it seems to be economy class boarding, because that's the second bridge which connects behind the business class, which is between the first bridge and the second one. And perhaps I think there's a bit more of the business class just as you enter and you turn on the right. That is what I would suppose, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. And the moon is a bit high up in the sky now. Earlier when we started the stream almost 2.5 hours ago, it was just somewhere over here above the lights. But right now it's high, and it's going to be right above our head, perhaps maybe in the next 2 hours or so. Okay, so I see a lot of these machines getting away from the plane. Not too sure if they're just readjusting or that's the end of the loading for this flight. Let us see, we'll get to know more. Whilst we did not get much of the aircraft action, like I said, most of the international arrivals and departures will take place quite late in the night. It's 50 minutes past 10, and yet the international arrivals and departures, the busy international arrivals and departures action hasn't even started. Yet we got to see a lot. We got to see the loading, the unloading. We got to see final checks on the aircraft on one of the ANAs that just left about an hour ago. We saw a couple of checks over here. We saw a few people boarding. We saw how these ground vehicles were being operated. We saw catering being loaded, catering being unloaded from that aircraft. We saw a few taxiing aircraft And of course, we saw this aircraft, ANA Boeing 777 with a special livery, which I still don't know what it's called. So all in all, even though we thought this stream is just going to be more of a test stream and see what the best location would be for us to stream, I'm quite excited and delighted that we could get so much of the action for you all. Alright, I think the APU has just begun with the bleed power. Could be wrong, but maybe that is what it is. And yes, I would rightly believe so that the APU has been switched on. And once this catering truck is out of the frame, we will be proceeding to the gate to see. Okay, it's not really going out of the frame, but yeah, I did see a bit of people boarding. Let us zoom in. Yes, there you go. How good is that? Isn't it great? We can see the strobe lights on. The APU has just been switched on this one. That is great. So hopefully we will get to hear the engine spool up on this aircraft, the Boeing 777, and maybe that should be the end of our live stream. And yeah, it is going to be fun. Vancouver is quite a long flight. But I think that one departed about an hour ago. Not too sure, but yes. Let us see, this one should be fun. We'll be able to get some really good sounds as well. And we can shift our attention on that side. On that side we have the special livery aircraft. Let us zoom in and have a look. We didn't really zoom in much on it today, so let's get a bit closer. Yes, here you are. That's the tail. Of course it gets a bit more darker when we zoom in quite a bit, but it does get a bit more clearer on the lit parts of the fuselage. And seems to be that aircraft over there. Its loading operations are complete, so probably we'll be having two planes getting ready for departure about the same time. You see the baggage loader as well has also been brought down, but look at that. That Boeing 777 came in not too long ago, and it's already been pushed back. Seems to be a person guiding with the lights. Now, since that is a Boeing 777, I am guessing we should be getting some engine spooling sounds on this one too. And as we see one of the gates being already pushed back from this aircraft. Eventually we got a bit of action towards the end of the stream, so that's nice. So it seems to be this Boeing 777 is being pulled along, so we wouldn't able to hear the engine spooling. Let us see this one. So tug machine has already been connected to the front landing gear. We still have a few boarding passengers, as you may be able to see in the second bridge. There you see the passengers now. And I think this one is a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. Looks a bit short. Japan Airlines. Let us see if that is right. Okay, it does look small, so it has to be a Boeing 787-8, a Dreamliner. And as we see that one, Singapore Airlines ready for its flight from Tokyo Haneda to Singapore Changi International Airport. That is SQ635. Of course, SQ632 is the flight that we came on. SQ633 was the flight that it went back to. Then SQ634 was when we spotted this plane come in to Tokyo Haneda, and SQ635 once again is going to go back to Singapore Changi International Airport. I'm glad we were able to get so many of these planes just today. Hey Stubuya, nice to see you. Nice to see you on the stream. Thank you very much. What plane spotting? Thank you very much. But like I mentioned earlier, it's a bit too hard for us to get the planes on our camera because it's a bit dark. So that's why. But yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate you letting us know about the 737. And thank you very much for plane spotting. See you tomorrow if you'll be around. I didn't know that you can buy in-flight meals from A store in Terminal 2. That's something new to me. Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing all of this information. Hopefully next time around we could, get a look or something of it. Stubuya, wow, you all live in central Shinjuku. That's so great, and thank you very much for coming onto our channel today to watch this live stream. Really appreciate your presence. How good is that? Thank you very much, Stubuya. Even though we are from Sydney, we have come here all the way just to spot planes at this awesome Haneda Terminal 3 airport. We appreciate your presence. It's really good to be accepted by people from all across the world, including you, Stubuya. Thank you. Yes, we are waiting for the loud spool from the Boeing 777-300. And thank you very much, Stubuya, for letting us know the Pokemons. I didn't know. All I know is just the one Pokemon livery, but thank you very much. Appreciate that too. Hey, Seasons. Oh, Stubuya, hopefully it doesn't snow whilst we are streaming. That would be a downer for us. But regardless, what we are spooling is the engines on the Airbus A350 of Singapore Airlines. Yes, Stubuya, I did see that we are going to get a bit of cold. It's going to be 0 degrees on Saturday, I suppose.
Hey Stubuya, you did mention that we can stream from Terminal 1. How do we stream from top of Terminal 1? Is there an observation deck? What exactly is it? Please let us know more about it. Oh, going to parking. Okay. Parking is not something we would able to do because, like, we aren't from here. We are originally from Sydney, so we aren't well versed with the place over here. And this is our first time actually in Tokyo, and we really love it. It's just been not even 8 hours since we are out and about, and we are already starting loving this country. And yeah, it's going to take us a while before we learn a bit more, but yeah, if there's an observation deck at Terminal 1, please let us know. Hey Keith, hello, welcome from the USA. I'm guessing it's pretty much early morning, somewhere around 9-10 a.m. New York time, and somewhere around 6-10 a.m. I suppose would be Los Angeles time. And I'm not too sure about the central time, perhaps between those times between 6:10 and 9:10. But regardless, Keith, I hope you're having a great start to Thursday morning. Keith, we are usually filming and streaming from Sydney Airport, but earlier today, we reached here at Tokyo Haneda, and we are filming over here. We didn't expect as much action, but we did get to see quite a lot. We got to see loading of luggage, loading of catering equipment, the food. We saw a few passengers boarding on this aircraft. We saw the Pokemon livery, like Stuvia told us. We didn't know it was a Pokemon livery. And yeah, we also saw how all of these ground vehicles are usually operated and things like that. But lucky us. And Keith, tomorrow we will be streaming in the afternoon Japan times, which is about 15 hours from now. So that's going to be about late night United States time. Also, we will be streaming late night tomorrow to capture all of the departures and actions, or perhaps most of it. So stay tuned. 8 a.m. and -5 degrees with snow. Okay, Keith, I guess you need to be staying nice and warm. Hopefully you're going to be having some nice hot chocolate or maybe nice coffee or something like that to keep yourself warm. I'm glad, Keith, you have joined us. We were supposed to end the live stream about, I would say, half an hour ago, but then we just thought we'll wait for this Boeing 777. It's been over here for quite some time, and we weren't even able to get much of the action much of the action on the runway, like I said, because it's quite dark. So yep, finally we see the pushback of the Boeing 777 ANA. This is what we were waiting for. Let us see if we are lucky enough to get the spool. Hopefully the tug machine doesn't really push the aircraft too much. Hey Keith, okay, I'm glad you had your coffee. Yeah, shoveling the snow, not one of those activities that most people look forward to, but yeah, that's something that needs to be done with the snow, right? So yeah, hopefully it's not too much of shoveling to do, and yeah, then you can get some rest and stuff like that. Thank you very much, Keith. Please join us tomorrow around this time, or perhaps slightly early. We will be streaming. We will also be streaming late night tonight, which will be late night tonight for you. We will be streaming at that time too. So yeah, watch out for us. We will be getting some nice, good action then. Wow, no doubt this flight took that long. This is Haneda to San Francisco on the Boeing 777-300ER. No doubt they would be having quite a lot to load and stuff like that. So yep, let us get the spooling action. All right, I'll be quiet. Let us enjoy the spool up.
Can you all see this person waving? Something that Japan is known for. We saw it happening yesterday at Sydney Airport. We will be having that video up by tomorrow. It's going to be a YouTube short video, but make sure to have a look at that one. Alrighty guys, I think that is pretty much it that we would able to see for today, with planes departing or perhaps pushing back from the gate and with their engines spooling up. I don't think we will be getting any more action. Of course, if we wait quite a lot longer, we would be ending up getting a bit of action, but it's getting quite chilly over here. So for the next 9 to 10 minutes, what we will do is we will turn this stream into a static stream, perhaps more of an ASMR white noise type of stream before we end it. But please make sure to join us tomorrow, because tomorrow we will be streaming all afternoon long and all night long. So we will be having 2 streams tomorrow. I think the first one should start about 3:30 p.m. Tokyo time, which is about 5:30 p.m. in Sydney. And then the next one should be starting quite late, let us say about 11 p.m. Sydney time. I'm not too sure about that. Maybe we could even start a bit early, but that's how it is. But thank you very much everyone for joining us. We really appreciate you all coming to this live stream, and coming to all of our live stream, especially the ones in Sydney, and the fact that you all have been joining us over here in a country that we've never been before, to watch the aviation action and everything else that we could bring about from here. We may also have a live stream, a static live stream from a hotel, which just shows the outside of Tokyo Haneda Airport, but I don't think we may able to do it tonight. Let us see. That's not something that is our main priority. Our main priority is bringing all of the aviation action from this observation deck to you all. So let us see. If everything works well, we might bring about a bit more, but please stay tuned. Please watch the video that we post tomorrow, and that is the waving action of the workers at Sydney Airport when ANA departed from there. ANA is Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. So thank you very much once again everyone. Take care, stay safe, have a lovely Friday to all people in Australia. Have a lovely Thursday, Keith. And to everyone watching us from wherever in the world, from North America, South America, Australia, New Zealand, anywhere in Asia, or perhaps all of Asia, Africa, Europe. Thank you very much. We appreciate all that you do for us. We appreciate your presence, and like we said, this is a gift from us to you for being so kind to us, and we are pleased that we could bring this stream to you, and we will keep bringing quite a lot of it in the next few days until the 8th of February 2026. Thank you very much once again, appreciate it. And right now this stream will be a static stream. Good night all to all those who have got to sleep right now, and a very good morning to all who are just starting their day, especially in Europe and the United States. Thank you and stay safe.